Johnny Wayne Studios. This ain't words not rude, man. Tune it in.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ryan here with Shredducation. I'm here with my man Aaron Simpson, Jody Rue, Slick Nick as always, and we have a special guest today. I know how you guys like when we have special guests on. We have special guest Les Norman. Okay, if you guys don't know who Les Norman is, you should. He's a great dude. He's a ex-Royals baseball player, also a TV analyst, radio host, and motivational speaker. Welcome on, Les.
It's great to be here, man. I'm introduced as a guest, but that you threw that special in there. I really feel honored now.
Yeah, extra special.
Extra special.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, when I was on his radio station, a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
And he made me feel really special, so I wanted to return the favor. So, Les, I guess, knows Aaron.
Yep.
We've known each other for
we
a
know
long
each other.
time.
Long time.
Yeah.
So, a small world. We all came together. Les walked into the gym. He's got some friends that go there and was interested in hooking up, and it's been a great connection. So, Les is also going to be a guest speaker at Shredducation on Thursday evening. We're really going to dive into the motivational, the mindset of everything. Les has got a great story. I'm going to kind of let him talk about it. Your childhood and getting into baseball and everything. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, the whole baseball thing came as, people think that if you play in the major leagues, you come out of the womb with a bat in your hand and you're throwing and playing. And I really was not a very good athlete as a little guy. And, my dad was an alcoholic, he was super abusive and hitting my mom and just railing on my sister and I as everything he could. The funny thing my dad used to, this is a funny thing now, but my dad used to get mad if I didn't cut the grass with straight lines. But the funny thing was he was drunk all the time, so no line was ever straight for him.
Never straight.
Yeah, I didn't figure that out until later. So I thought maybe if I cut it in a curved line, then maybe he would think it was straight. So I guess that one's on me. But
right.
So it was just it was an escape for me because I remember seeing a bunch of dudes hanging out at the baseball field. It was getting close to summer, so after school that's where they'd go. You have all that daylight, and so that's where I went. I just hung down there and tried to find that acceptance and that camaraderie in a group of people. Mm-hmm. And eventually they let me hang and play a little bit, and that just escape and hanging out turned into a passion. I found I was pretty good at it, and over the years it just kind of worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. I had some things happen to me when I was a child, and I took it out on football. That was my focus, and that's how I excelled, because I wasn't the best athlete either, but I worked harder than everybody else.
Right.
And that was my focus. That was my drive. And some people go see help, talk to a therapist. I took it out on the field and in the weights, and I still do. That's how I do. That's my getaway is in the weights. But after you got done playing baseball, you got into motivational speaking. Tell us a little bit about what you talk about when you go on stage.
Well, that took a little more work because it's even to this day I've been doing it all these years, almost 20 years, and I still get those butterflies. You get nervous. I'm a big research nerd.
Okay.
If I have a guest on the show, it's borderline stalking maybe, but I want to get to know everything about them, because when I'm able to do that, then I can let the guest take control of the whole situation. They're going to take it where they want to go, and they're comfortable, and I can ask those questions that obviously they already know the answer to, but that they're inspired by. It brings out their passion. And so I always had the desire to do that, but there was always that nervousness and the ums and the ers and the ahs and all that of getting in front of people. But when you have a platform, everybody in this room has a platform. They're passionate and good about something. And when you get in the groove of something that you're passionate about, it's easy to talk about.
Exactly.
And so I had a couple organizations ask me to come talk about baseball. Well, I can kind of do that. I can do that just sitting in my room by myself. And so we talked originally about that, and I thought, there's some other things I'm interested in. So the craft kind of developed, and through a little bit of marketing and all that, I let me go ahead and try to do this for a living and as part of what I do, and it just blew up from there.
Really? Yeah. Talking about researching your guest, I've been on lesnorman.com the whole morning doing some research on Les. It's a really smooth website. You got a great website. But some of your topics that you talked about, is that I want to bring into the show today is the healthy work-life balance.
Absolutely.
Is that one of the major topics you talk about?
It is, because surprisingly, I did a thing, this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and I did it 2 out of 3 years with the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, because you think a lot of people there, they're in cubicles, they're at desks, and they don't do a lot of physical things. But it's not even that. They work so much that the family life struggles, or they they get healthy in their bank account, they get healthy and feel that they can do things here at work, but then at home they may sit and just watch TV. They're not active. They're eating a bag of chips because that's their escape or something like that. And so I try to tell them, it's not so many people look forward to something that escapes from reality. And so I try to help them with their mind, their body. I mean, I can't do it like you guys do it because you're in it all the time, but I can tell them how to, or I can tell people how to go to people like you that can really get their fitness and transform, was the key word, transform their lives. And so it's important to be able to do that because there's so many people out there that will put a mask in front of them. Like I know when I played in the major leagues and wearing my Royals jersey, I had a lot of internal struggles going on. So that wasn't a jersey that brought me joy. That was a jersey that covered up a lot of pain. And so I try to help people have avenues to have that work-life balance so they can enjoy work, but when it's done, now they can go home and enjoy home. They can enjoy their family. They can enjoy fitness. They can enjoy their healthy emotions and live joyfully versus the happy of the circumstances that go up and down all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see, I'm talking to a lot of clients that have health issues or, all of a sudden they don't realize that they're overweight and they're unhealthy. They go to the doctor. They all have some sort of excuse, whether it's work, whether it's, something that happened to them in the past. It sounds like you've dealt with both. Right. And another topic that I saw that you talk about a lot is you're enhancing your personal brand. And we talk about a lot that, like embracing yourself and don't compare yourself to others,
right,
especially on social media, like a lot of people are doing. I feel like it's a lot of, and you have kids. I feel like it's affecting a lot of people in terms of just comparing yourself to others and their success, especially on social media. So how do you feel about that?
Well, here's the thing. It's so many people in society can't deal with the fact that somebody might not like me. Somebody may not appreciate what I look like or who I am or anything like that. We spend more time worrying about pleasing everybody that it steals our joy and we lose our confidence and we become afraid to fail. I mean, many of us would risk things if we knew 100% the safety net's underneath and I'm never going to fail, there's no chance I'm going to fail. That's not risk at all. And that's not faith in yourself at all. So the whole social media thing and comparing ourselves with other people, I think is more of a self-imposed prison than anything else because people don't want to get out there. They don't want to do anything. And, here's the deal with a personal brand. If we don't set it, other people will. Yep. Whether it's business, whether it's your own the way you present yourself in society, and we want that to be true, obviously. But what it comes down to is that if we let other people do it and we live in fear, then it ends up being a negative brand. And once a negative brand's out there, it's out there, and it takes twice as long to be able to recover that. So I want people to know the real me. I want to be joyful, and like you, I mean, with your business, Ryan, it is. I love the culture change that you've set out to do. You're not letting other people set your culture. You're not letting other gyms. You're not comparing yourself in this way. We all learn from mistakes or things that don't work for other people and work for us. But the beauty of it is that you're out there setting your own brand your way, and it's becoming successful, and it's transforming the lives of people in many ways. And so I just think it's important that people have to understand, whether you're a business owner, whether you work, whether you're in the gym, whether you're transforming your life in some way, we all have our personal brand, and it's important that we set it our way.
Our way. That's exactly. That's what I was going to touch on too. Is people spend too much time convincing other people that they're capable of things, and then that they don't have the self. They don't think they can do it themselves. They want to constantly convincing other people they can do it. And if other people aren't convinced, then it breaks down their, self-confidence. And confidence is huge. Right. Like confidence and fear really rule everything. And the more confidence you have, it outweighs the fear. Like going in, I mean, you played in the major leagues. That's a lot of nervousness and motivational speaking. Like, tell us how you overcome your fear.
Well, it used to be fear, where there was going to be fear every time. Part of that is the old thing is where people say, well, you have to picture everybody naked. I don't want to picture everybody naked. Not everybody's in great shape either, man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that because some things you can't unsee, and there might need to be some counseling coming after that. But it's building self-confidence in who you are. I mean, we were all created unique. We all have gifts. We all have things we're good at, and if we can realize in humility, and here's the thing, when you and I started emailing, I was interested in you, interested in your business, interested in getting to know you more and your story. And I told you this when we had lunch the other day. But the first thing I recognized that really stood out wasn't the fact that my oldest son looked at your picture like, okay, there's people that are ripped, but that dude's really ripped. And I said, yeah, and I'm not quite like that. He's like, Dad, you need to like hang with him and get ripped like that.
Jack and Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing that I noticed was at the end of your email, it wasn't, hey, have a great day, take care, be the best you can be. It was just simply one word. What was that one word?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Yep. It was gratitude. You were thankful. And when there's a level of humility out there, I don't want to work to be successful monetary. I don't want to work to be the best speaker around. I want to be useful. I want to share that message. And so when I realize I have something that I can give these people to make their lives better and then see that response, I feed off that. And it takes the fear out of, oh no, I'm speaking. Someone might not like it. I might make a fool out of myself. I might say something silly or something like that. When you focus on the other people out there and there's that sense of humility and gratitude, things just tend to take care of themselves.
Yep, exactly. And I just go back to in high school and college having to give presentations in front of like 15 classmates, and I would be terrified. I would be up there shaking, and my voice would be cracking. It's because I wasn't passionate about what I was talking about, and I didn't do my research. Right. And when you have passion behind something, I've done speaking events, and I talk fast. We all know I talk fast, and people think that I talk fast out of nervousness. And
slow down, Bubba.
I just slow down, my mom. Slow down, Bubba. I talk fast out of passion. I get very passionate about things. So for me, facing that fear, like our last Shredducation, that was the biggest event that I've talked in front of people, and I wasn't nervous at all. I just got up there and we just started talking because I know that what I'm saying can help change somebody's lives, and they can help somebody help change somebody else's life. So, that's kind of how I got over my fear. And, being an athlete myself, I feel like athletes have a different mentality than everybody else, because we know, not only do we have a focus, in terms of a game time situation, but we're more, not saying more disciplined. I'm not going to say that athletes are more disciplined people, but, we had to show up for practice.
It's a different discipline.
It's a different discipline. And we just know as well, like, that we can push our bodies past what we can think. So did you have any injuries that you had to overcome or anything? And I'm sure you had a lot, but tell us.
We don't have enough time in the show, man. When the interesting thing is that when I was in high school and college, we were not told about nutrition. We were not told to lift. Drink a Coke, have a Twinkie, and make sure you have some energy for 5 minutes. And then when you crash, eat another one or something like that. And so I went a lot just on raw talent and then the passion as well. But I also got hurt a lot. My shoulder was sore. My hips were sore. I'd yank hamstrings and things like that. And then in college, there was a little bit of lifting, but that was more when I played football, not at your level, but just 1 year, and was getting crushed and quit. So I remember sliding into third and partially dislocated my left shoulder, and then it popped back into place. And they're like, just rub some dirt on it, man, take some Advil, and get back in there. And then when I got to pro ball, instantly within my first month, I separated my shoulder sliding into home, and then hamstring issues, knee issues, ankle issues, wrist issues, elbow, throwing, all those things. And it wasn't because I was overused, because, again, I knew in my head what I was just taught on the lowest level, but I was not taught by anybody to take care of your body, to eat well, to sleep, even to drink a ton of water. And pouring the sugary drinks into my system. And there were times, and this is going to be embarrassing, but I'm going to be humble. This is for the people listening, all right? We would be in the minor leagues before I got to the big leagues, and sometimes we'd go to Memphis, Tennessee. And in playing in Memphis as a AAA with the Cardinals at the time, and usually on a Sunday you play a day game and you fly back home or fly to a different place. Well, in this case, we had a Monday game. It was a 4-game series, and it was a stayover. So you had a Monday night game and a Sunday day game. So you had all that time. So Sunday after a game, and again, this is a professional athlete trying to make it to the major leagues, we'd come back, and I'd order a large pizza, a 2-liter of Coke, a big can of tobacco, and a big giant quart of ice cream, and all of it would be gone. All of it would be gone by the end of the second ESPN doubleheader game.
Holy cow.
Yeah, just hammering it, and then sleep for 15 hours and get up and do it again.
That didn't slow you down at all.
Well, I'm wondering, why is it the 7th inning and the bases are loaded, and I'm walking up to home plate and feel like I need someone to help me to get up to home plate, and I'm in my mid-20s. I mean, why are you feeling that way? And it took me a while to finally have some of the right people to realize, even back in that generation we talked about, in the major leagues, in that Royals clubhouse, it wasn't nutrition, lifting. It was go in the gym and spend 30 minutes in there, and I'll see you when you come out.
Yep.
And I mean, you've got to be kidding me. But then look at during the 90s, look at the Royals records during those times. That's not the only reason, but we had great athletes, but there wasn't that commitment from top to bottom within the organization.
And I told you this on your show when I was on there. I wish I would have known then what I know now.
Ugh.
I would have performed so much better, and it's just a missing piece, I think, right now in high school.
You were a two-time All-American. So if you're a two-time All-American, but you wish you knew then, I mean, what could it have been for us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What could we have done?
It's funny because there's a couple guys I played ball with, Mike Peterson and Dave Tollefson, and those guys were always grilling chicken, cooking rice, doing potatoes. They're doing the stuff that I do now and taking their supplements and had their protein shakes, and we used to all make fun of them. Like, oh, those meatheads. Guess what? They both went to the league. Dave Tollefson won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants.
That's
so,
crazy.
it's just a missing piece. We never got taught that.
There was no education about that back then. Like, because I'm around your age to a certain extent, and we didn't know any of that. We didn't have lift. My school didn't even have a gym. There was not even a dumbbell in the whole entire gym, so that none of that was taught. You were told to go out and run. That was the only thing we ever did.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've always wanted to kind of dive into that sports nutrition aspect and just go talk to, just to kind of give them guidance, because I have a lot of high school kids that come and train with me. They'll do like 1 or 2 sessions just to go over their form, and they can be the best athlete on the team, and they're not even squatting right. They're not benching right. They're not doing anything, and it's amazing to me that, a program like Northwest Missouri State, like we didn't learn anything about nutrition. And so I think spreading the word on that would be beneficial. One thing I want to talk.
Is that probably the biggest change in high school and college sports though in the last 15, 20 years? Strength training, fitness training?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting bigger, but still, I still think that there needs to be more guidance. I know, like on big D1 programs, they have training tables, so you can go and get your food, and if they want to put weight on you, they feed you a certain amount of calories. But there's so many other programs that could be performing better, And I talked to Terrence, one of my new trainers, and he's he played football at MU. Talked about going in and just taking one school, taking Lee Summit School and just working with them on nutrition, going into the weight room and doing form and seeing how much better they perform the next year. So that's kind of something that we might get into here soon. One thing I want to touch on, because I know I had an issue with it, and I didn't go as far as you did, but, I played football my whole life. I played basketball all the way up until high school, played football through college, and and it was maybe because I came off of losing 2 national championships, but I really struggled, almost went into kind of a deep depression after I got done playing sports. And I had to get in the real world. I thought I wanted to, but just because I was not burned out, but I didn't want to go on and try to do anything more. How did you deal with the transition out of baseball into the real world?
Well, it was pretty tough. I mean, I always thought that I would be a coach. I mean, the reason I retired was because my bride was the type of person that, look, you didn't have a dad. I had to work all the time, and her parents divorced, and so we were both kids that were alone. And so you're not raising a family from the road. I'd gotten used to that. And so when I retired, it was, okay, you're retiring to be around your family, so you have to figure out what you want to do. So I wanted to go coach, but I also wanted to keep my family. So family wins. And I did struggle for a while. I tried doing this Athletes in Action coaching thing and worked with this foundation, and it didn't work out. And the whole radio thing came by accident, or at least so I thought. I mean, I'm more of the divine appointments, but it still was a situation for me where I even suffered from and went through a couple years of depression, where, the funny thing is, I'll just cut to this and say it, trying to find my way was very difficult because I didn't have the confidence in myself that I could do anything well. I mean, I own an Olympic gold medal in baseball and played in the major leagues, and not that that's better than anybody else, but those were goals I set, achieved them, and yet I couldn't see past the negative things that I thought, and a lot of it was because I didn't think I had anything to offer. Now what? No sports, no baseball. And so I had to learn to be confident in myself, who I was created to be. And then I was able to kind of process through and get through the depression side of things and find out what I was good at, what I could offer. And again, like I said, focus on being useful as opposed to that measure of success that other people say.
Yeah, 100%. And that's how kind of I was when I got done playing football. I was kind of depressed too for about a year or so until I got into personal training. and then realized that I was confident in that I could help change people's lives, and kind of took off with that, and that's where I am now, 12 years later.
I think a thing for me is that when I was done playing, and the reason why in my own head I couldn't do it was because I thought people were saying there's Les Norman, the former baseball player. But I wasn't playing baseball anymore. I thought that's what I had to offer people. That was my identity. That's who I was. If I didn't have my jersey on, that was my Superman cape. And when that jersey was off, I was vulnerable. I was not up to standard of someone else. And so it took me a long time to realize, hey, my identity is in who the person is and who I was created to be, not in what jersey I can wear, something like that. You know, you're more than a business owner. You're more than a jacked dude. You know, you're a man that you're a loving father. You're a great friend. You are a business owner. There's a lot of things that you are that's not just a guy that wants to transform people's lives, which is an amazing thing, obviously. I mean, we all have our passions and all have our gifts, but we have to understand who we are is the core of us. It's not what we do.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because I come from kind of the opposite side of where you're at. I always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player and feel like I failed at that. So now as an adult, I feel like I'm going back to that childhood who failed at it, and now I'm trying to prove to the world that, hey, I'll go get 4 or 5 businesses, 6 businesses, because I didn't succeed in the baseball. So I've had to catch myself in the way of almost feeling like I'm trying to prove the fact that I didn't make that happen to now show, hey, since that didn't happen. Because, you know, growing up, when you told everybody you wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, the first thing was, oh, well, you should come up with something else because that's probably not going to happen. And that you just pissed me off.
Every kid's told that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so then now it's just I feel like I have to almost catch myself sometimes in business and be like, okay, wait a second. We've talked about this, my wife and I. If it doesn't just free flow, if it's not something from God, we're going to walk away. I don't have to prove to anybody that I can make that work just from some fact that I failed in the past.
Right, and those struggles will come back too. But here's the thing. Let me encourage you with this. You know, it seems like we when we see each other, we pop up in the oddest of places. It's a grocery store or a baseball game or something Home Depot. Yeah, something like that. I was only there because my wife's good at that stuff, not me. But every single time that I've seen you, you greet me with a smile, you greet me with a warm handshake, you greet me with a warm hug, and you know, behind every face there's a drama unfolding, but you all always have been, since I've known you, a people person, caring about other people, investing in other people. And so you may struggle with that, but people's faces don't lie after a while. And I've seen that there is a joy in you, and there is an other people part of you. So I just want to encourage you that you project out that you care about people, and that is a tremendous quality to have. That lifts other people up in less than 5 minutes. So
I appreciate that. And
absolutely.
I appreciate that. And I actually feel like that's my role in life. You know, like even with my businesses, I don't have to actually go and work and actually have a job while I'm there. But my role while I'm there is to be the guy that's there to greet people. How you doing today? What's up? You know, what can I help you with? And that's just what I feel like why I'm in the position that I'm in is to be that person. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I agree 100% with all that. Yeah, I going back to, you know, between what Aaron and Les both said about their struggles, you know, Aaron's got kind of not a chip on your shoulder, but, you know, you're trying to prove something. Same thing with me, you know, when people congratulate me where the business is at, like, it's hard for me to take a compliment. It's kind of like when I made it to the national championship and people are like, at least you made it. I'm like, no, I lost, you know, like, you know, and
I put my face through a wall when I hear
I think that was one of our first conversations. We were like, yeah, I was the ones at Northwest that didn't win.
Yeah, 2 in a row. It was heartbreaking, you know. So not only I never won a championship with anything. Lost 2 national championships. I've done 2 fitness competitions and came in second place on both of those. You know, so I have a chip on my shoulder too to be like, well, no, I know I'm going to do more. I want to do more. Like it's and the better I do, the more confidence and the more I get over that. But still, it's like I can't. You know, it's still right there. You know,
it's hard to reel yourself back in because like. You know, I want 20 gyms. I want 30 gyms. But then what's realistic?
Yep.
Is 20 or 30 gyms going to make me happy or just make me more stressed out? And you talk about family life. What's my wife and I's relationship going to be like if I'm traveling all around the United States? One reason why I'm not going to be in Florida next week and staying to do Shredducation is the fact that, like, hey, I need to be here right now for my wife for this season, so I can afford not to go to Florida and check on that gym for a week. So,
How much of that you guys were talking about, though, all that balance and all that getting over the chip and you keep pushing, how much of that is about just you allowed yourself to be vulnerable, not just to other people, but to yourself, and say
that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that pushes you to be like you talked about, of service.
Yeah. The more confident I get in myself, the more vulnerable I am. Because like when you're not confident in yourself, your vulnerabilities stay in because you're afraid to share them with anybody.
Protection mode.
Yeah.
Right.
Total protection mode.
Yeah,
You know,
that happened with me. I know of, like, I grew up playing soccer. All right, I didn't think that I would ever go major league. I wanted to go play for the MLS, and I wanted to have that dream to be a superstar soccer player. From a tyke from 5 all the way up to my junior year in high school, I was a stud, like leading scorer on the team, captain on the team, and then senior year hit, I rode the bench, no goals at all, no looks from college coaches, and I was crushed. Like, I was really down. I didn't really know who I was then, because I was used to being the star, and I wasn't that person no more, and it took me a minute, like, what do I do next? I loved art and music, so I went that route. And in college, I could have probably went to a team and walked on and tried out, and I would have made it, because like you guys, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna work your tail end off, and you're gonna make sure that you're seen and you're noticed because of your heart and your passion for whatever sport or job or whatever you're doing. So I went to a business college and went 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and I was doing graphic design. I graduated my associates in 1 year. At that same time, I had worked at an internship after college. I worked at Hollister, and I was a busser and a bar
I bet you
back.
smell good.
I could totally see him working at Hollister.
And here's what's funny about that. They said, I'm walking through Hollister, like, you got to look for this job. They made me the stock manager. I was like, y'all put me in the back. Ain't nobody can see me. But the fact of the matter was,
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
nobody puts baby in the corner. So I was working 3
It feels
jobs.
like what Ryan's
going
to
to
do next
school.
at the Shred.
Right. But I made it through all that, and I found out who I was. I was in a cover band for a minute. I thought that was going to be something that would take off. I ended up getting cut from the cover band, and a lead singer that took over was a girl. Like, I went through a lot of ups and I was like getting the short end of the stick, and I kept pushing. And at that job, I was busting tables and still going to college. I started throwing parties there, and that turned into being hype and bringing people together, making them happy. And then that turned into motivational speaking, and the motivational speaking brought me into fitness. So everybody out there that's listening, and you had something that you thought that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to thrive at it, I'm going to be the best at it. That might not be where you end up, but don't ever feel like you failed, because you learn from all those things to get to where you're supposed to be. And now I know who Jody Rue is, and I'm confident in myself, and I don't need recognition from anybody to tell me that I'm doing the right thing, because I know all the people that come up to me at the store, or if I'm out of town and do a gig, and they're like, man, you put this out. I might not have ever known that they were listening to my videos, and they said I changed my life. Those are the little things that make you know you went the right direction. So you can't let those failures that you go through make you want to just give up. We've all been in that point where we get depressed, and our thoughts, they overwhelm us. We have a battle inside that we can't even share with nobody else, because they don't know what's really going on with our head. We can express it to you. I'll be like, hey, I'm feeling this, but it's more going on in there than we want to let out.
Right.
So once you figure that out, you'll find out who and why and what you're here for. And when you do that, you'll go to heights that you'll never imagine, So hearing your story and being around them, they've made me want to be a better man and find ways to encourage others to go after what they love. So it's awesome.
I think he's got a new vein coming in too. You see that one on the sides of that?
I know. I got. See when you're. Oh,
He's been wearing stringers.
I have.
Yeah.
See, hanging out with big guys, I feel a little bigger. I'm still small, but I feel big.
He was trying to get out of breath to be more like you.
I was like, okay, inhaler. Stop.
I think I might have asthma. I don't know. Well, I think a common theme in this whole room is just is our confidence that we've had to build, and we've all had our struggles. We've all had to overcome things, and we've all had to find ourselves. And so, I know there's a lot of people out there, maybe listeners, maybe friends that that are struggling with who they want to be. And not even as a kid, as an adult, they might be, in a relationship or at a job that just isn't bringing me happiness. Like you have to do some soul searching and figure out what's going to make you happy. And I feel like that's what you touch on a lot when you do all your speaking, Les. Like it's amazing. I want to go hear one of your. Well, he's going to be at Shredducation, but I want to go actually.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you do your work on that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's fun when you see one life change. And I know growing up, once I first got that taste of the major leagues, the gold medal, stuff like that, and you get that flock of people that all of a sudden are attracted to you, it wasn't for me, their lives are changing. For me, it was, I'm all this, I'm all that. I must be really this super stud. And when you realize, it's not, because as soon as adversity comes, you climb the top of the ladder. The higher you get on the ladder, the less stable that ladder becomes underneath you.
Right.
And I went to the top rung, and then was still trying to reach more rungs that didn't even exist, and then boom, you crash. And so, I really find joy, like you said in your school speech. When you don't do the research, or when you're not passionate about something, that's just when you fall apart.
Yeah,
and you can really see that. But when you are passionate, and if you make, everyone's got a message. You got a message. We all have a message to say, and people want to listen, because there are so many people that struggle with the same things. And when you're passionate about it and you share it, people read your passion. You don't have to be a gifted speaker. You don't have to be on the cover of GQ magazine. You don't have to do all those things. But they'll listen to your passion. People will be transformed by your passion, and they will pick up that desire and the motivation and that work ethic. And so that one thing, one moment in time can change someone's life if you're ready for it.
Amen.
Fully believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, be deliberate about it. Be deliberate. I found a quote. Be deliberate about your happiness. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It's something you design for the present. We all want to feel like we'll be happy once we reach this point. Be happy right now.
That's it.
We look past the things that we have right in front of us, and you miss out on your life. Your life is so precious, and it could be gone like that. So don't postpone being happy. Do it right now.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. A couple of years ago, and I won't make the story long, but my youngest son asked me, because I told him I wouldn't solve the Wheel of Fortune puzzle we were watching on TV. Said, I won't solve it, and I couldn't wait because there's only like 2 squares left. And I blurted it out. He's like, "That's it, you're going on the show," and I'll do a whole crazy, weird thing of events. I ended up being on the show like a year later.
That's crazy.
And I've watched that show for 30 years.
I never thought I'd get on there.
I'm like, I watched Pat and Vanna, and Pat's making fun of me on national TV because I didn't play in the big leagues that long, and that's Vanna standing over there, and man, that board's big, and all that stuff. But the thing that right when the show it was recorded and it aired 5 months later, and I went to the bonus round but couldn't solve the usual hangout. I'll never forget that one. But 5 seconds after the show aired here in Kansas City, a guy from a local media thing called me and said, "Hey," the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, do you regret not winning?" I'm like, "Did you watch the show?" I'm like, "Dude, I just won $12,000 and a trip to Costa Rica with my bride, and I need a vacation, so this is right in the money." But that's how people think. It's never enough, and it's about the experience and what you go through, and that's what I love sharing with other people. It's not about, expectations not being met. It's about who you are and the joy that you can have from that.
And being grateful for that.
Everything
you have.
Gratitude, baby.
And again, like just the basic knowledge of just even anything with faith is you don't learn anything when you're in. Normally, when things are going right,
that's right.
You learn through adversity. You learn through the times where you get kicked down. You learn things when all of a sudden you're in the big leagues and you go down to the minors. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. That's got to be just a devastating.
Not good.
Yeah. That's to me. And again, just being an athlete and being wanting to be where you were at, I think it's worse than you can get let go from a job, but there's hundreds of other jobs out there. How many Major League Baseball players are there?
Well,
very few in the world.
That's good trivia. Tell me, guys, since 1885, if whether it was like the George Brett for 20 years or guys that just get called up for one day and sent down, how many guys have ever worn a Major League jersey?
Jeez.
Since 1885. We got to go around the table. You got to throw a guess out there.
I'd say 5,000.
Well, let's see, 32 teams time now. 25
well, remember,
players.
there's 600 that just played in this year.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's
see,
600.
Let me rephrase that.
Recalibrate, because you're thinking like over 100 years.
Yeah.
So recalibrate it.
Okay.
It's interesting. We got the
27,000.
27,000. That's a pretty good guess. My first guess was $500,000.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because you got to have 600 players a year, 100 years.
100. Yeah.
So you're talking 600,000 or over.
Jeez.
Ryan, give me something.
But I don't know how long has it been 25-man rosters?
Yeah, I was gonna say it hasn't always been that.
Right. But
More
then
teams.
but then
They're
in
actually
September
40.
they expand to 40.
Yeah.
That's true. So I'm gonna say 650.
$650,000.
If this was a price
220.
is right,
220.
I was wrong.
Well, since I was way low, I'm going way high. I'm going 750.
750, and you said 27,000.
That's. I mean, I definitely.
No, see, you're all laughing, but he's the closest.
Wow. I thought
It
was
just eclipsed 21,000 this past year.
Holy
serious?
cow.
It
Wow.
just eclipsed 21,000.
See, I should be more confident in my answers.
Right, and so if you think about
That's
it,
crazy.
we don't like to hear Ryan. Oh, you play. Well, hey, you've been there. At least you've been there. Well, I never won a World Series because I played for the Royals in the '90s, and I backed up Johnny Damon, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. And some people say, "Oh, well, at least you got to play," and that used to. Be treadmill. I'll never want to hear that again. But again, it's about.
I feel like that could be a whole show in itself.
No doubt, no doubt. But again, it's about the experience, because how many people of the George Brett style of hitting guys is George Brett?
Yeah.
How many people have done what you've done and what you've done and what you've done and what you one you?
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
And so we don't have to listen to that voice when we can realize that we have been designed and created to do great things, and we're just right smack in the middle of doing those great things.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Where are we at on time, Nick? We good?
Yeah.
Well,
Wrap it.
We'll wrap it up here. But if you guys want to hear more, you definitely want to hear more of what Les has to say. For sure, he's going to be at Shredducation, and we just realized that Aaron's going to be there as well.
Yeah.
Welcome
this
back.
party
And it's
just
the birthday's going to be on
Yeah.
point.
Better get some more chairs.
Yeah, this party just got lit. So come hear what Les has to say. I guarantee you're going to leave feeling completely different about your life, looking at things differently. He's a very powerful speaker. I've had a instant connection with him ever since we met,
Amen.
and he's just made me feel like I need to do more and be better. So it's definitely a motivation for me. So come out and listen to him. We're gonna have a great event. We're gonna do $10 for donation or a toy to get in. The toys will go to Hillcrest Ministries, and then also we teamed up with Instant Auto, and whatever money we raise in our raffles and from our vendors, I think we have 7 vendors. I can't list them off right now. 7 vendors, and all proceeds will go to buying a family a car.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So come out, support the event. We're gonna have a cash bar. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Jody will be DJing. It's gonna be a fun event. So make sure you guys get your
And
tickets.
I'm getting raffled off.
Yeah, and Jody's gonna get raffled off.
I think it's going to be high. I told everybody to bring their check.
I can't wait for some dude to write like a
That would be
$10,000
Hey,
check.
We're calling this a penny auction.
No, we're going to raise.
Who won Jody? Oh, Earl over there bought Jody.
I just say, hey, Earl, you like my hair up or down? I guess. I don't know.
Curly or straight.
I'll straighten it for you.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. And we'll see you on Thursday night.
You have been listening to Shred with host Ryan Waters, along with Aaron Simpson and Jody Rue. The Shred podcast is produced by Nick Parker and the Fredcast Network. Subscribe to Shred on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or most any of your favorite podcast apps. Have a topic, idea, or question for Ryan and the gang? Connect with us on Facebook at Shred Podcast.
Wake up in the morning, get that daily inspiration. One day at a time, we stay on our grind. Humble all the time, then we all gon' shine. I'm tuning in live, it's that Words by Rue anthem. Wake up in the morning, get that daily inspiration. One day at a time, we stay on our grind. Humble all the time, then we all gon' shine. I'm tuning in live. Johnny Wayne Studios. This that Words by Rue anthem. Ooh, if you don't know, now you know. This that Words by Rue anthem. Too fresh, too clean. Ain't in my blacklist thing. Swish swash, swish swash.